Hello and welcome back. So, today I want to talk about the heart and why it is the seat of consciousness. So, I work for an Ayurvedic university, and anyway, I work for the Ayurvedic program, and my students had to submit uh, a video explaining why the heart is the seat of consciousness. So, I'm super inspired to now to do one for myself. Because it's easy to grade someone, but it's harder to be the producer of such videos. So let's see if I can express this. So the heart, as we know, is a pump, right? It pumps blood. So we know this physical action it has to pump blood to throughout the body to nourish the body, right? It receives the blood in and then it pumps it out, and it just continues this cyclical um, process throughout the body. And then the blood brings nourishment to all the parts of the body, all the tissues, etc. Blood and oxygen, right? So so we know this physical importance of the heart, um, and how it brings nutrients all throughout the body. But what does it mean that the heart is the seat of consciousness? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, in Ayurveda we understand the heart is the seat of consciousness. So let's talk about. Let's imagine you are in your garden. Okay, so just imagine you're in your garden. Maybe you're cleaning up some flowers, making it pretty. Maybe you're trimming. You're on your knees. You're maybe trimming some things, and all of a sudden you see a snake. Oh my gosh! And so your heart starts to race. So your mind interprets like, oh my gosh, there's this snake, and your heart starts pounding, and you notice you've lost your breath, and maybe you're sweating a little bit, right? So like, what's all of that? Like your mind interpreted this snake, but your heart is the one that's like racing all of a sudden. And then and because of the heart, there was this cascade of events that happened throughout your body. Okay, so then you look and you realize, oh my gosh, that's my child's rubber snake that they left in the garden. Ugh. And maybe you laugh, or you get irritated, or whatever happens next, but then you have this big like sigh of relief, right? Like, okay. So that's emotion. Okay? That's like the five senses affecting your heart, and your heart spreading that throughout your body. And that's kind of what we mean by this like consciousness factor. What else? So then also you have like a broken heart. Okay, you've been, in a relationship, you're totally like swept off your feet and in love, and it's not even like the honeymoon phase. Like you've been together for years, and you've just like found your soulmate, you feel like, and then all of a sudden maybe they've gotten like terminally ill, or maybe they passed away, and like you feel this huge sinking in your heart, like this, again, this like complete physiological um experience from this like your heart literally feels like it's broken in half, or like it's been stabbed, which brings up being stabbed in the heart. I mean, we have so many expressions of, how the heart experiences life. Okay, being stabbed in the heart, or having a heavy heart, or being lighthearted, or, yeah, what else? Kind-hearted. I mean, there's the heart is really what experiences life. I'm getting all heartfelt about this, and excited to try to explain this concept of how the heart is the seat of consciousness. So there is a shloka um, in the Ayurvedic ancient texts, and it's called Hridayam, or it says Hridayam Chaitana Sthanam, which means heart, consciousness, seat. So it literally says the heart is the seat of consciousness. So, what exactly is consciousness? Okay? Consciousness is all that is. It's not just like being like conscious, like I'm consciously awake. No, it is like all that is, all that was, all that ever will be. There's a universal consciousness, there's absolute consciousness, there's cosmic consciousness, God consciousness. There's there's this, it's this like pervasive like reverberation that's just surrounding everything, and everything is full of consciousness. So there's also another shloka that goes something like, no. It's actually the word heart in Sanskrit is hridaya, and there's multiple ways to say it because it's a very old language. Um, so it's hridaya, which means giving, receiving, and balancing. So as I said before, like the heart gives blood, right? It pumps the blood through the system, and then it also receives the blood back, and it's constantly balancing through this like giving and receiving. So too do we balance as beings by giving and receiving. And actually the act of giving, in the act of giving we actually receive, right? Like who here has um, volunteered, or not maybe even like in an organized fashion, but maybe you've given your neighbor a meal when they were sick. How did that feel? Didn't that feel really good in your heart? Like, isn't it amazing to think like how central a role the heart plays in all that we do in our life? And then like bring this back to health, right? Like it's so important to like make sure you have a happy heart, because again, your heart is also a physical organ that's pumping nutrients through your body. So you want that to be happy nutrients, right? Have like be vibrating and like on a happy vibration so that it's sending those nutrients in a good way, and in a healthy way. Like we also know about, you know, the effects of stress on the heart and the cardiovascular system. So you know, it's all like full circle. um and yeah, and the importance of, you know, just taking care of the heart is so important for a healthy life and happiness. I mean, why not also be happy? You know, if if none of this was true, like you can't go wrong with it, you know, believing it anyway, because who doesn't want to live a happy life anyway? And then seeing the, you know, the effects of that, kind of being your own experiment and say, ah, okay, well, let's just try this on for size. I remember actually when, that's funny that this is coming up right now. I remember when I was kind of in the throes back in the day, kind of in the throes of an eating disorder, and really trying to like navigate my way out of it, just trying to like, you know, fix myself. And I started listening to a person called Abraham Hicks. This is her, like, she's like a channeler, and this is the name of her channeler. And she talks about like high flying discs and like just like basically um, the law of attraction, and like just kind of holding like flying on the next like high flying disc, like what's the next best vibration. Okay, maybe you're like super low. Okay, what's the closest higher vibration I can latch onto? Okay, you know, and just kind of building that up. And I remember starting off my day thinking like negative thoughts. And I would go to my balcony and I would tell myself different things. Like I would literally tell myself a different script. Instead of listening to that negative voice in my head, I would say, I would start thinking of the things I'm grateful for, or, oh my gosh, this is such a great view. And oh my gosh, like I'm loved, and oh, I'm a valuable person too, and oh, I can do that, and oh, I am acceptable, and oh, just all these things. And then I would go out into the world and I would smile at someone, and then I would find evidence like of being accepted as they smiled back or acknowledged me, and just really witnessing this, like, what you give you receive. And it's just so miraculous how this plays into this whole concept of the heart as well. Like, it's funny because I've been thinking of how to talk about this exact thing, and I was going to talk about it in a different way. And it's funny that it's actually coming into this conversation right now. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that conversation about the heart and how it's the seat of consciousness, and how important it is to nourish your heart, not just with the foods you eat, but also in the actions you take and the thoughts you think, and yeah, the people you surround yourself with, the activities you surround yourself with, even the sounds that you hear, the smells that you smell. Um, it's funny. Another thing I was going to talk about is essential oils and aromatherapy. Um, Oftentimes, when I come to sit down at my computer, I have essential oils near me, and I put them on, and I smell them and I feel how they transform the energy in my heart. I feel how they like imbibe my senses and just like really infuse my mind and my emotions. And I remember learning in the aromatherapy section of my Ayurvedic studies to inhale the scent, this Ayurvedic essential uh, oil for a good 5 minutes, because it's not about just one quick sniff. That's not gonna like completely change the chemical cascade of events in your brain through your olfactory senses, right? Like your nose is the closest thing to your brain that we can like inhale, and chemically you're inhaling those small little molecules into your brain, right? It's crossing that blood-brain barrier, and it's actually changing the chemistry in your brain, and then that goes throughout your body. So doing that for 5 full minutes is amazing. Like, and then if you can do that multiple times a day, I mean, yeah, make sure it's a good scent, a good essential oil that you're using. That not necessarily. Yeah. Anyway, I can go into that in a later time, but um, yeah. Anyway, this was about heart, seat of consciousness, and that there's so much to the heart, and it's such a wonderful conversation. So thank you for being here with me. Um, for this one. And remember to laugh today.